Hey guys, it's Steven from teamscrubout. I'm joining Sebastian's nice lovely trend of doing some profiles for the new Banlist, so let's get into it. Starting off with Zefra. So first off, 2 Dark Worm, because it's Pendulum, it's a plus, it's really good. It's Dark Worm, you know what it does if you played Pendulum for the last 7 months. Gate 0, because again, Spring Kings. Only 1 though, because we don't need multiple. I've considered it, it's just kind of a space thing. That's the same with why we only played 2 Dark Worm. It's also just only necessary. Then 3 Chrono and Time Gazer. Chrono's still just amazing. And Time Gazers are brick, although if you draw it, you can still just normal it. And if you have waiting into Electromite, still it's not even all that bad. Then 3 Cerberus, 2 Jackal. Again, Electromite Engine. Because even with it at 1, we still always want it out before Pendulum summoning, because it's free advantage. And Jackals are also negates. Not hard once per turn, so really good. You know what it does, it's Pendulum. 3 Zefra, best ever card, just because it puts stuff in your extra and changes its scales to whatever you need it to be. You can't just leave it if you need it. I've had just 2 in scale, 1, 5, 1, 7. Never actually summon it, but it's fine because we don't need it to. We basically treat it as a continuous spell. Zefra Neo, another just good card. The search is amazing. It's a scale 7 for Zefra. Also 6, which comes up a lot, just because if you want to make Strike Bouncer or, well, that's the main thing, is Strike Bouncer. Zefra Wendy for E-Telly. We run just several one-ofs in the Zefras because they're super searchable. It also gets us a card from extra, which is really great for Master Rule 4. Zefra Thubin and Zefraxiton. Popping cards, scale 1, which is really good. They're also level 4s, which is great, because any of them plus Dark Worm, which is really easy to pull off, gives us Tornado or Dweller. And as you know, Dweller can just win matchups. Zefraxi makes stuff a tuner, like our level 4s, to get into Dragster. It's also Yangzing, which does matter. Destrudo, because we play 3 Shrine and Foolish. And 1, you can use it to get into Meteor Burst to make Vortex, as well as Dragster if you don't have the gate that you need. 1 Ogre, it's not great and could easily be cut just to get to 40 because we were playing 41. But it has use just because you can summon it off of E-Telly either as extra link material for Warlord or Underclock, or I've actually just put it on field before, because then you can get rid of stuff like Protocol that's already activated, stop on field, get rid of, say, I don't know, a Diagram or something if you just do it on your opponent's turn. 3 Droll, because it's still a really good hand trap. Hits Draco hard, Goki, hits basically everything pretty hard except for Altergeist, which gets you immediately sided out. 1 Foolish, 3 Shrine, because we always want to see Dark Worm, and if we're not seeing Dark Worm, or we just don't need it for whatever reason, you can always go into Destrudo. E-Telly, because it's a 1, and because it gets Zefra Wendy, which gets our Electromite, or the Ogre play I mentioned. 3 Providence, because it's an amazing search card. The protection effect also comes up a lot, just because you don't want people popping your skills ever. Why would you? So having a search card with an extra effect is always good. 3 Oracle as well, because consistency. You always want to see Zefra. And through 3 Oracle, 3 Providence, and 3 Zefra, it means that all your Zefra monsters, you have 9 ways of searching. So that's why we get away with running a bunch of them at 1. Then our traps, 9 Pillars, because you search it off of Neo. It's an amazing negate. Destroys Neo, so it means that we get to search another Providence or card to set up next turn, so it's not even a neg in that regard. And then it shuffles into our deck, so no grave effects. Divine Strike, it's another negate. Can be searched off of Providence, which is really great. I mean, yeah, also, they're both counter traps, which is just really good negation, because especially if you go first, unless they have red reboot or something, they're not going to have a counter for it once you activate it. And War, because for one, if you have double Zefra scales, you can activate it from hand. It's good removal, gets rid of a lot of problems. It's also just another piece of interaction. Into the extra deck. So first off, we obviously have our one Electromite, because sadly he's limited. Thanks a lot, Pendulum Magicians. We only ever really needed one for Zefra anyways. When running two, probably 10% of the time, if even, you would go into a second one. Because generally first turn you make it. Then later in the duel, you can just summon off Neos or a lot of other stuff, and you actually don't need Electromites. If the duel's still going, if you don't just win from your opening board. Underclock, because we're Pendulum, so we have OTKs as well. It can just, since we don't have two Electromite, this was Electromite 2, but Banlist. It's great for the OTKs, and you can just use it as a link to clear field and for everything you need. Metaltron, because it's still a really good card for getting rid of Absolute. It's also nice because since it's a Zefra card, it means it has synergy with our deck. You can protect it with Providence. You could technically pop it with War if you really wanted to, or just the others. I don't know why you would, but you could. And Borload, still one of the best links in the game. Besides the combo links, it's probably first or second in terms of more than just, oh, look, it summons more monsters or gains advantage. Then Meteor Burst for the plays, Vortex, and Absolute. So if you don't know the combo, you just make Meteor Burst, normally through Destrudo or Zefraxi. Summon your Gate 0 from Scale, overlay into Absolute, then get rid of Absolute normally through linking it with Electromite off, get Vortex. And it's your best monster negate just because it negates everything. Then some more Synchros, Metaphysaurus. Doesn't come up a ton. You could easily cut this for something you wanted. But when it does come up, the Stealing Monster effect is amazing. For one, nobody plays around it because they forget it exists, and yeah. Dragster, it's another negate, which is what we're all about. And while it's only spells and traps, it's pretty easy to make. If nothing else, you can make it with like an Ogre, especially in a matchup you know you don't need it. Or you can just use Zefraxi. Anytime you're going to make a 7, but don't have your Gate 0 for whatever reason. Or if you've already used it for something. Yazi, amazing card. Because if nothing else, you just make this. Pop whatever's your problem card. Then you can use it to summon Neo from deck. Which also gets you to search from Neo. So instead of taking a -1 from the 2 materials to make this, you actually plus. Because you're getting 2 cards out of it when it destroys something. And then, lastly, Chao Feng. It's really good just because, if you don't know what it does, it's your opponent cannot, I believe, activate cards or effects of the Yang Zings that you used for, of the attributes of the Yang Zings you used. So, while we only run Earths, it meant, especially for like our Goki matchup, that make that, now all their Goki effects are gone. And Cerberus is also an Earth. So they'd have to get into a unicorn just to out this, and that's if you can't protect it, because normally you'll still have at least a negate. So a lot of the times you just make have like Electromite, Chao Feng, and a negate, and Goki can just lose. That's what makes going first against Goki really good. Then Xyz, Dweller, and Tornado for your level 4s. I mean, it's just interaction. Dweller to auto-win Dweller matchups. And Tornado because if we need to pop something. I've had games where it was really good just because it lets you out like an anti-spell of you just put a Dark Worm in grave, leave it there, and as long as it's in a deck that can't OTK, then you just next turn summon the Dark Worm, normal another Dark Worm or one of your Zefras, pop their anti-spell. I've actually just won games off that because they didn't have anything else. Then your 2 level 6 negates. Strike Bouncer isn't great just because It only does on field, and I believe it does not, yeah, it doesn't destroy, which is sad, but it does burn, which is nice. And if you have, say, extra Zefra Neos or something, it's good. And Naruto's still amazing. You can easily, if you have double Chrono, that's the best use for them. Or Chrono Jackal, if you don't feel that you need Monster Negates, but you need Spawn Trap. Finally, Side. Siding Danko, specifically for going second. Because although we play 3 traps, and they're really important in our deck, against something like Altergeist, or even, say, Pure Striker to stop impermanence, Widow Anchor, or just various back row decks, Danko can just shut them down, and we need to be able to play, because stuff like Strikes kills us. 3 Veiler for going second, pretty self-explanatory, because I don't have impermanences, because I'm not made of money. It's also nice because it's level 1 tuner, so you can take this and Zefra Neo and make a level 7. So it over impermanence does actually have some pretty decent synergy with the deck. And if you have Gate 0, you can pendulum this, so you don't need your normal. Blast 2 Ogre to line up to finish out our hand traps, because going second could be brutal. Goki's not as bad going second, now that, like, Called buys to 2, no more Invoker and a lot of, or Goblin, but we still need to be prepared, because if we get extra linked outing, it's a real pain. Because we can't even do what half of our deck does. 2 Shared Ride, just going first in adding matchups, you can take it, can generate advantage. It's also nice because sometimes Droll isn't the best option, just because it can hurt you, because it stops Neoad. Then 3 Twin, going second against back row. If you pitch Dark Worm, that's a really nice bonus. And last but not least, 3 Mind Crush, because adding is still a thing and we want to get rid of their cards. So that's the list. Thank you for watching, and stay tuned to our channel, because I'll probably be doing Layer Infernoids, possibly a few other decks, and when the new Blackwing stuff comes out, I should be releasing a guide on that, and it will be great. So like, subscribe, and as Sebastian would say, have a nice day.